Humans, report, General Thal shouted. He was in an angry mood and he had every right to be. He needed soldiers, ships, and armada to defeat the Garud, and upper command sent him a bunch of techno-barbaric monkeys. He'd rip them apart with his claws and feed them to the staff. But orders are orders. All 4 humans stood at their approximation of attention. Their furless shapes disgusted him, so weak and fragile. He had no expectations of them. Sir, we managed to make a few interesting things for you. They aren't much, but as a proof of concept it'll do. Their leader, one called Alex, spoke and pointed to a small pile of what looked like assorted junk. Quietly sighing to himself, Thal gestured for him to proceed. Alex gently pushed one of the others, a female, called. Thal struggled with their names, but it was all Ga, he was fairly sure. She picked up a small anti-grav cube. This one is quite simple. By inverting its anti-gravitational field, then boosting it a little using that, she pointed to the discarded FTL fuel cell. We made a hand grenade that, once activated, sucks up everything within a 10-meter. She paused to calculate it in reasonable units. 3.7 standard galactic steps with the force of 23 DOMs. It will, of course, also impart mild radiation levels from the fuel cell, but I think we can fix that. She finished and looked at the general. Thal could only stand there in silence. Anti-grav cubes, especially of this size, were little more than toys used as novelties and to teach children about 3-dimensional movements, and used-up fuel cells were literal junk, to be disposed of ASAP, and they made it into a weapon that could crush titanium. This was beginning to look promising. The monkeys, it seems, mistook his stunned silence for an unimpressed frown, as they began to seem more nervous. Next up was mine with Ling's help, Alex said, and pointed to what appeared to be some sort of rifle. We disassembled the old transporter you gave us, and we figured, hey, that basically breaks things down on a molecular level. Surely that was already done. But we couldn't find any mention of that, so on the off chance it wasn't, we broke down the molecular reconstruction unit and replaced it with a universal fuel converter. Alex was sweating profusely now and clearly struggling to speak, so Li Ying, the other female, took over. This is an infantry version. We also made a ship-mounted version, using some more cells and the heat absorber to make a miniature fission reactor for the extra power, and what we managed to salvage from the optics array to increase the range and width of the beam. She finished and stood there, nervously twitching. The general was at a loss for words. Turning a transporter into a disintegration ray has been proposed before, but the heat release was far too massive. No one ever even considered using it to power the universal fuel converter, making it essentially a weapon that could power itself, or even an entire ship, as long as it had a target. Last up was Erie, the one even the other humans found a little off. All I did was shift the shielding on the fusion reactor, so instead of dampening the excess energy, it will reflect it back into the core. It doesn't do much on its own, but if you shut off the vent pipes... He pointed through the window. Thal saw the one ship they have given them floating right above the uninhabitable moon of the uninhabitable planet Raz 8. The human pressed a button, and... nothing happened. No matter, the general thought. This was still a thoroughly impressive. His thought was cut off as the junked ship, as well as half of the moon it was parked over, vanished in what could only be described a flash of black. His jaw literally hung open as the human smiled and said, "You get a miniature black hole, and because of its size, it disappears in seconds." The soldier accompanying the general noticed something he will later deny, to anyone including himself. General Thal, Scourge of the Battlefield, nicknamed by many races as the one whose name means death. This fierce and proud warrior was trembling. Thal swallowed gently so as to not show weakness and spoke. He coughed into his hand and tried again. "Good work, humans. These will make for fine weapons. Report to R&D. You're assigned to them from now on." He saluted and left the bridge. No one heard him whisper, "May the gods judge our action, and may our punishment be merciful," to himself as he walked away.